Hello and welcome. I am A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio, where creativity shines. With over 20 plus years of public school teaching experience, I bring step-by-step art instruction and ready-to-use art lessons to spark creativity in students and offer art teachers a much-needed reprieve. So let's create something wonderful together. Hello, it's A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio. And about a week or so ago, I was challenged to draw some rabbits. Now, my daughter was like, I want to do an artwork with a rabbit. And so I went to Pinterest, and Pinterest has all these different rabbit artworks that teachers put out there for their students, lessons, and so on. And I was going through them, trying to figure out what I would do with my daughter and our friends. And I eventually drew three different rabbits that do not tie into a handout that I have on my Teachers Pay Teachers site. I have this handout on how to draw some bunny rabbits, and it is available on my Teachers Pay Teachers website. But these rabbits are not on there. These rabbits are a little different. So let's get into drawing at least one of them. And you can see here how we're going to start with dividing up the space. So keep in mind that as you're drawing, you're going to need to erase eventually. Yes, this is a little messy because I was working with these. So let's get into drawing our bunny rabbit here that's looking at us. We're going to start up in the left-hand corner here, and we're going to start with our circle. Remember, draw light so you can erase all the guidelines. And now I'm going to divide the rabbit's face with an axe. A curvy axe. So now this is where its nose is going to land, so I can put its nose in here. A little triangular nose or a heart-shaped nose will work. And then along here will be where its eye is going to land. So I'm going to draw an eye shape. And then the other eye. Now I have a lesson that I have done with students for 2 years with drawing squirrels. And when I look at photographs of squirrels, they have this little rim around their eyes, and then they're pretty black with a little white highlight. So that's where I'm getting this from. And then we add its mouth. Notice how the guidelines are helping us. This pizza pie slice has an eye. This pizza pie slice has an eye. The nose intersection, the mouth. Okay, so put in its fun-looking mouth. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing with its face, but the position of things would be helpful. You can alter how its mouth is drawn and its eyes. Okay, again, so these lines here are going to help direct me with the ear. So I'm going to extend this line, and that's going to give me the ear. So then I'm going to extend this line, and that's going to give me the other ear. Okay, and a little bit of a zigzag line along there. Now I'm going to use this line right here that's dividing the face in half horizontally to give me the direction of its body. Notice how I did that? It's like a fancy J or something. Alright, and then we add one its big foot, because rabbits are known to have big feet and funny teeth, as well as that cottony tail. They're very interesting little characters. Okay, again, I'm using letter C's or curves, and I just bring it around. Okay, so right here with this pizza pie slice, I know that in the center is where I'm going to have its arm come down. Curved line. And then again, where this horizontal line is, I'm going to bring in its other paw. Okay. And now, if I really want to think about dividing this piece of pie slice up, I could come out, and that would give me its belly. We're going to give it the letter C's for the big feet. And we have our rabbit drawn. It wasn't hard at all, now was it? I'm going to get my Sharpie here. Oh, not the right Sharpie. Hold on a moment here. Where is the wide one? Oh, there it is. Alright. Have our wide Sharpie. And adding a little zigzag or straight lines. Make it look furry. Oh, the Sharpie's running out of juice. Let me get another one. Okay. There we go. Now, A.M. Snyder here has been playing around with a lot of ideas with trying to build her own online business. And one of those is to teach a series of drawing classes based on different themes. Years ago, I had produced several videos of drawing bunny rabbits, probably about 3 years ago now. It was slightly after the COVID time. And those videos I put on YouTube. And then I was like, well, what if I use them for a course? So I started to take them off. So now I'm like, again, looking at all these different bunny rabbit drawings that I have, and I'm really thinking about how I can produce an online course with how to draw bunny rabbits and bugs, as well as sweet treats, and a variety of things. So if you are following along with me, and it sounds like something that you think A.M. Snyder could do, or you'd be interested in such a thing, or that you know somebody who could benefit from learning from me, it'd be great if you gave me a little like or a subscribe or a comment to encourage me as I encourage you to draw along and make these fun works of art. Alright, our bunny rabbit is done. I'm going to give it some teeth, I mentioned that, and I'm going to get a eraser, not a Sharpie, an eraser, and erase away. Remember, I drew light, you drew light, everybody drew light, and we're all good. Erase, erase. Alright, I'm going to get my special brush here. Get all the eraser bits out of the way. Now I'm going to get my Sharpie again, and I'm going to add some texture to it. Now I do have one that's in here. There we go. See how adorable that is? And it's purple. It's a purple bunny. I've been telling students about making bunny rabbits the color of the marshmallow peeps that are currently very popular. Marshmallow peeps. They are as pastel colors. Very fun. So now I'm using the Sharpie to give texture lines. I am coloring the eyes in. And doing that little highlight like I mentioned about the squirrels. Squirrels are funny, by the way. And I'm going to give it a few whiskers. A little more fur line. along its arms. Make it look furry. And then I'm going to watercolor my rabbit. By all means, you could use any material to make your rabbit colorful. And I'm thinking I'm going to draw some things around it as well. So let's do that. I'm going to draw behind my rabbit here a rock. And a little rock. And the grass. And the grass. And then, yeah, we're just going to put in a little bush. A little bush. You can put some tuft of grass, indication of a carrot here. Alright, done. Just a bumpy line. Vary the bumpy line. Very simple. For the rock there, just a line. It's just straight, and they were like straight, they're just bent. Alright, or at angles. Little carrot sticking out of the ground. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do next is add some hatching lines here to make the rock look like there's a little bit of a shadowing from the grass that's leaning against it or in front of it. This rock is in front of that rock, so there's going to be some shading there. And these hatching lines will help to define that difference. I don't want a lot of detail with these bushes because they're in the background. Just maybe a few lines along here just to show that this is not the lit up area because it's below, the light's hitting it there. Alright, so we have it drawn. I need some water and we're going to watercolor it. Alright, I'm going to make this rabbit and make it purple again, but I'm going to add some pink to it by taking my watercolor here. I have it off to the side here. I'm going to add lots of water to the red, and by adding lots of water to it, it will lighten it up. More water makes the color light. Less water will make it darker. So I have a little pink belly, a little pink nose. I have a kitty at the door. She's meowing with her paws coming from under the door, wanting to come in. If you watched any of my prior videos, I do comment about my kitties. How they like to interrupt when I'm recording, but they're never around when I'm not recording. Alright, we have the pink for our bunny. Now we're going to get some purple. Oh, that's really dark. I'm going to add water to it to blend it out or fade it out. Water it down. Make it lighter. That's what I need to say. apologize. My son is very excited playing his games, and he's in like the room right next to me. I did ask him to be quiet, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this red for its cheeks. Okay, it's looking really red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and stroke the hairs of my brush on the side of the container, and I'm going to use my brush as a mop to pick it up. And that will lighten it. And blend that purple in there because it bled together. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to paint the other parts of it. Let's do the orange. I have orange way over here. And then we'll do some green. So going back to the Marshmallow Peeps and their pastel colors of pink and yellow and purple. I think there's some blue-green or blue out there. So when you paint your rabbit, color your rabbit, you can think of all those very wonderful bright colors. Or you can make your rabbit realistic and choose a color that rabbits are. And that is fine. Okay. I'm going to use some black. I'm going to make it light, adding water. Paint my rock. There's some birds out my window making noises now. Okay, I'm going to turn this sideways and do the sky. I did turn it sideways so that I could paint, in essence, horizontal with the picture. I forgot to say that. It makes sense when we look at landscapes for things to go horizontally. For the most part, there's no, for A.M. Snyder, there is no straightforward, this is how it has to be done. And I don't know if that's how it is for all artists, but that's my train of thought. So when I say most of the time, I'm sure there's a reason to go vertical on something, and I'm sure I've done it. Now in my paint palette here, the lid of my paint, I mixed blue and green together for my set of videos where I was talking about drawing 4-leaf clovers, 3-leaf clovers, and so on. So I have regular green here, and I want to make this grass different from that. So I'm just going to pick up the blue-green color that I already mixed in here and use it for my grass. Now I'm thinking I might want it to be lighter, but oh well. Let's do it. That's what I have. If you don't have another green color, like yellow-green, and you didn't mix it, then go ahead and mix it. And put it into your bunny rabbit painting. I think I'm going to add some green to this. Alright. I picked up that orange. There's a little puddle of orange there. Alright, overall, my bunny rabbit is complete. I appreciate that you followed along with me. I hope that you've enjoyed drawing your bunny rabbit and eventually adding color to it if you didn't while you were watching me. There again was the original one. You can see the difference here. Remember we had that X. These eyes are a little smaller. They're more, I guess, flatter on the bottom, and these are more curved. So it does create a different feel. This one's eyes might be too big. They might be too big. You can see how I use triangle nose. There's an oval nose. You can see how I use straight line for its mouth. Here I used a curvy line. So you can totally see I made pointy ears and I made curvy ears. So the differences are there, and you can make multiple bunnies and alter their faces. You can even move their paws so it has its paw up in the air. This paw could be up in the air as well. You could have it hold something. These paws are more together. Could be holding a flower or a carrot. A carrot's always fun. So there's additional possibilities that you can do to make it your own drawing and not just copy A.M. Snyder all the way through. Well, I've enjoyed working through this with you. I talked about how we used our curved lines and division for proportions on his face. I didn't use the word proportion. I should have. Okay, proportion helps us find where things are located on the face. And then by using those guidelines, we could find where everything else was going to land in our drawing. Using variety of line as well, the zigzag line for grass, the bumpy line for the bush. Helps create an interest to our artwork. And well, we have our main subject along with the background, so we composed an overall work of art. Well, A.M. Snyder, so very pleased that you shared this video time with me, our drawing time together for drawing this cute, adorable bunny rabbit. And I hope that you have a wonderful spring and that you will return for further videos on art instruction with me, A.M. Snyder. Thank you again. Bye-bye.